don't localize. I would not localize. And that was actually a requirement of mine where it was, and I learned that in the golf business where I think 30, 40% of my sales were from UK, Australia, all over the world. And I learned that, man, that this is a global,
Market.
this thing's global. And to limit yourself based on a local solution doesn't make sense. So that's a very big one. I think today, right now, I think about 55% of our customers are US based and and then we've got customers all over the world. So that's a very large one. But again, I knew that going into it.
Yeah.
Um,
So those are some core lessons. Did you end up in raising capital at all, or were you mostly customer funded and self funded?
yeah, no capital. Jared and I both put in like $26,000 in, something like that and then we didn't take any, then we just put everything that we made from revenue back into hiring. So we didn't have to fund it again. And we've always been pretty good about spending money the way we spend money and trying to get the most out of this. So we never raised capital.
Yeah. So you basically had some sort of a runway for you personally to take care of business personally, but
Yeah.
money to just fund
It was
the
tough though. I
business.
didn't make any income for about 2 years. I had to rely on, I had two young kids at home and not making any money is not, it's stressful.
Yeah, that's tough. So how did that how committed were you?
I didn't, the company was making money. The company was making revenue. So I know at some point we were going to, yeah, I knew at some point it would turn and it did, but I knew at some point it would, but and luckily my wife, her dad was an entrepreneur. And so she understands and she trusted it. And
Yeah. You certainly need a partner who understands. Otherwise, you got trouble. So obviously,
right.
you said, I think, would you say it was a strategic move on your part to have that landing page up much earlier on to start getting those users on so that you can actually come with your
For sure. Yeah. And we wanted, our goal was just to get users in to get feedback and just to get, because you're in the very early days, I was a product tester kind of first and foremost in the beginning. When the very beginning, I had 6 different laptops and testing on different versions of Windows and you're testing the product and you need that momentum to actually test and understand where, because an example would be like this time zone, Kathmandu, they're half an hour off, they're not on an hourly basis. They're like 1.5 hours different or something, some odd. And so but we never would have learned that if we didn't have a user from Kathmandu trying to install the software and they would be willing to work with our team to help us understand, hey, this is the issue.
those are some crazy findings, right? Like you don't sit there and strategize and build this big roadmap of where you're going to go. You just learn some of
Right.
those things on the way.
And we've always been very user focused. And so listening to what the customers were telling us they needed, and that really has driven a ton of and over time, you figure out where you want to go and what the ultimate strategy is, but shoot, it's taken a long time to really figure that out. And I think now we've got a very solid plan in place of where we want to go and how we want to approach.
Yeah. Obviously, a product like Hubstaff is super feature rich. It's just got too many functionality. Like you said, it's very robust in terms of management side and as well as on the user end side as well. But someone who's obviously, even for that of a product, you were able to, how many months from the development you were able to actually say, okay, we're open for business?